Hello and welcome back to the channel. If you're here because you subscribe to my regular videos, you'll probably find that this one is not really like the rest of the content on my channel. This is actually a video I'm doing as part of a project I'm involved in with another YouTuber, APGamingReal. So if you're not familiar, I do a lot of, I play in games and actually run some games on AP's channel on YouTube, which is youtube.com/APGamingReal, and on twitch.tv/APGamingReal. So I've run Rogue Trader there. I have been playing a number of AP's campaigns, and this particular show or this particular video is aligned with a project that I've been doing with AP for the last few months and a few other people as well, called Generic Fantasy Adventure, which is as the name would imply, a generic 5th edition D&D campaign. So it includes myself, Bearded Jalapeno, Lauren Danger, and Neo Buzzard, and the game that is run by APGamingReal as well. So we played our first 8 episodes, our first season of the game, towards the end of 2022, and we're on a short hiatus now, returning in 2023. And I thought, given that there was a lot of interest on AP's Discord and around his channels in the show, that I would take the opportunity to actually create some more content myself to go along with the show as well. Now, if you are coming here having not yet watched Generic Fantasy Adventure, I would say go and do that first. Go onto AP's channel, once again, youtube.com/APGamingReal. Look for current shows, look for Generic Fantasy Adventure. 8 episodes, great content. It's a really good group, really good GM. If you haven't seen it yet, check it out. Although what I'm doing today is a prequel to that, I'm going to assume in what I talk about that people that watch this video will have already watched season 1 of the show and are just using this to some filler before season 2. So Generic Fantasy Adventure actually kicked off the first episode with the players, or with the characters, already basically towards the end of level 2. We'd already agreed with AP that although yes, we'd start at level 2, literally at the end of the first episode we would all reach level 3, and therefore get our special subclasses, for example. We all knew what we wanted to play at the time. It was just an idea of starting off low and going from there. But it does imply that the characters have had some adventuring life prior to the start of the show. And of course, at the start of the show, the characters met each other for the first time. So whatever they did prior to that is something they did alone or with other NPCs. So I got the idea for this show originally after I backed a Kickstarter earlier this year called The Wolves of Langston, a 5e solo murder mystery. That was on Kickstarter, done by Obvious Mimic. And I have never actually played any solo RPGs previously. I've looked at quite a few because the idea itself is quite interesting. And recently, earlier this year, I got the Twilight 2000 rule set. It might have actually been last year, 2021, that I got it. But once again, that had very robust rules for solo play. So it's something that I've been looking at checking out for some time. Now, while the Wolves of Langston Kickstarter is still, pre-delivery, I also saw on YouTube a video by Ginny D reviewing the Solo Adventurers Toolbox by Paul Bimler, which is on DM's Guild, which is basically a toolkit designed to allow you to run solo games with some limitations. So I'll sort of explain that in a moment, but it lets you do solo play either with one character or multiple characters without needing a GM. So what I thought I would do is, given that we've established that Kithtrix, my character in Generic Fantasy Adventure, has a background prior to me and the rest of the group, I thought what I'll do is I'm going to try a solo adventure. I'm going to do it live, so I've never tried these rules before. As you're watching, I'm trying it for the first time. I might find through what I do today that I've got to actually cut and come back and do some more prep. So we'll see whether it's all done as one take or whether there's some sort of break in the middle. But I want to sort of see how this would actually work out. I did think about just taking Kithtrix on her own. So Kithtrix is my halfling ranger from AP's game. But I decided to bring in another NPC and do it as a 2 solo character with myself running both. And the reason for this was, one, I thought that it would give some more interplay. I mean, I'm not going to be sitting here talking to myself, but I can sort of talk about what the characters discuss. It helps to establish, one or more additional NPCs into the backstory of my character. And it means that I can ramp up the difficulty of some of the randomly generated fights without necessarily creating a situation where the moment my character goes down into death saves, that's it, it's over. The book does allow you to play. So this is the Solo Adventures Toolbox. Does allow you to play just a single character or multiple. So I am doing the 2 character rules, which is it's got quite robust rules for this. Now, when I created Kithtrix for AP's channel, I did do a very basic character background because I figured the character is obviously already 2nd level. There's already been some adventuring going on. So I wrote a very basic story about Kithtrix being part of a druid circle. So although she's not a druid herself, her mother is. And so she was raised as a child within this circle and has taken the role of a ranger, seeking to basically protect the lands around the forest which the circle calls home. And in my backstory, I said that there was some sort of magical blight infecting the forest around where she lived, that she was sent out to investigate, and she tracked the blight to an old graveyard in the woods and encountered some generic cult forces there. So that's what's already established in the backstory, and I thought I would explore that a bit further. So that means that rather than generating, as you can with the toolkit, literally the quest from the start, the location, the season, the weather, etc., I've got some elements that are pre-established. So we know that Kithtrix and her companion are going to, or they're following tracks, and they're going to follow them to an old graveyard in the forest. We know that our enemies are going to be humans. So when it comes to generating encounters, I've shortlisted already using Don John the variety of opponents that I would use that will fit in. But I don't have any sort of closure to this narrative. So I don't know whether what we do today will actually end with mission concluded, or just, an earlier part of a wider story that either AP can ignore or you can choose to use in the future as part of the character's history. Now, as I mentioned, I will be doing this with 2 characters. So when I was planning to play AP's game, I actually made, I think, about 5 characters. I'm one of those people that just enjoys generating RPG characters. So when the opportunity came to play, I built like 5 characters, or I think it actually might have 6 characters. And I then agonized over which one of them to play. I went to the group and said, who do you think would be the most fun to play with? And of course, like any good group, they're going to say, look, choose the one that you want. But back and forth, I decided that the concept of Kithtrix, which was the ranger with a small dragon companion, being a Drake Warden, was probably going to produce the most interesting roleplay opportunities for the group. That's what I went with. But one of the other characters I looked at was a elven druid. So his name in this case is Perrin Shademoss, and I've decided that I will take the character I built as a druid and say that he is also part of the druid circle that Kithtrix comes from, and that together Perrin and Kithtrix have been sent to investigate the source of this blight. Now, I guess a few things about how we're doing this today. So I'm actually using Foundry Virtual Tabletop, if you're not familiar with that. Foundry is an absolutely fantastic tool for GMing. I have moved all of my campaigns that I play online over to Foundry. And it's for D&D, it can't be beat. It craps all over what Roll20 can do, in my opinion. The only drawback is that sometimes the game you want to play just isn't in the list, which is the case with any virtual tabletop. But for example, right now I've been playing in and running in a separately Pendragon campaign. Pendragon has no support in Foundry, so we are still using Roll20 for that. But the amount of mods you can put into Foundry in terms of animations, sound, like you probably hopefully hear now that I've just turned on the audio for this initial scene. So all the audio that I'm using for today has come from Tabletop Audio. And because my channel is a free channel, I don't make any money from it. I am using this, within the license agreements of that website. But please, Tabletop Audio is such a great resource for gaming as a GM. So if you don't know it already, please check out tabletopaudio.com. Some great tracks you can download there to add ambience or ambiance to your games. So yeah, I'm using that. I'm using a couple of mods for Foundry Virtual Tabletop. I won't go through all the mods. If you're interested in how I set up stuff I did here, feel free to message me below, and I'll respond to that too. But overall, hopefully, this has just been a nice, simple run through of this encounter. So if you're not familiar with the Solo Adventurer's Toolbox, it's primarily built around the concept of asking yes/no questions to establish a scene. And then when yes/no isn't enough, you can generate a series of verbs, and then you have to interpret those verbs to establish what the connection of those words to the narrative is. So as I said, all I had down as the reason for being here is that there was a blight in the forest, seems like evil magic, some sort of cult activity. Kithtrix and Perrin have tracked the source to this old graveyard in the forest, which is not near a city or anything. It's in the middle of the wilderness, and they've come to investigate what may be here. So maybe we'll find the source and defeat it today. Maybe this will be just part of something bigger. So to start off with, I want to start by asking the game a question. Now, primarily the way you do this is you ask a yes/no question, you roll a d20. So on a 1 to 6, the answer is no. On a 7 to 12, the answer is maybe. And on a 13 to 20, the answer is yes. So that means that there are 6 no's, 6 maybes, and 8 yeses. So most of the time, it's going to swing towards yes. So you can sort of sway the outcome by choosing what side of the yes/no spectrum your answer falls. So, for example, if I wanted to avoid a fight, I'd say, there are no monsters here, right? Or the area quiet? Because a yes response there is going to reduce the chance or remove the chance of an encounter, and it's a more likely yes outcome. Likewise, if I wanted to have a fight, I'd be saying, are there any monsters here? In order to try and generate a yes. On top of that, you can also then add a modifier based upon the likelihood of an outcome. So if, for example, a yes is a likely outcome, you can maybe add +2. As it gets more and more likely, +4, +6. Things that are going to really sway it towards it. Now, in the second part of the book, you can use part of the toolbox. It breaks down further. You can have no, but, no, and yes, but. I'm just going to focus on no, maybe, yes for the moment. But what I might say is, if we skew towards the higher side of the 20, that's a very definite yes. Towards the lower side of the 1, that's a very definite no. So the first thing I know is that Kithtrix and Perrin have been travelling together, trying to reach this graveyard through wilderness they're familiar with, but it's still several days' travel from their home. So I would like to know, do they arrive at the graveyard while it is still light? So I'm going to roll a d20 this. I am going to apply a +2 to the result, and the reason for that is that Kithtrix, first off, as a halfling, doesn't have dark vision. So it's quite unlikely that she and Perrin would travel too far at night time. She also doesn't trance like an elf does, so she has to sleep a regular sleep cycle. So I would say that it's more likely that they would have stopped somewhere before reaching the graveyard and have gotten there during the day. But, situations can change, so I'm still going to roll the dice. So I'm going to roll a d20 +2, and I'm going to see. Alright, so total is 12, so the result is maybe, and it's at the higher side of maybe. So I'm going to say that they're actually arriving here at dawn. So that might affect what people who may be here are doing at the time. But it is... So we've gone towards the higher side of... the lower side of maybe. So let's say they're arriving here at dusk, sorry. So if what they do takes too long, it is going to convert into nighttime because the sun's getting low, and this graveyard may soon turn into an eerie, haunted location. So first off, I would like to know then, and this may be something that Kithtrix and Perrin don't yet know, but is there anybody looking out for people to arrive? I'm just going to do a straight roll to see if this is the case. Okay, so there is 100% definitely not. So 1 is a very solid no. So they're going to arrive here and have an opportunity to maybe look around before they come across anything in particular. So let's see. What might have been the things that drew them to this graveyard in the first place. So Kithtrix and Perrin stop in the road and they talk about why they've come here. So it may have been because of tracks that they found. It may have been something from this graveyard that was left behind at one of the scenes of the Blights. I'm going to roll 3 times on the verb table and see if any of that information helps me to sort of work out how they came to this conclusion. So normally the verb table, it's a D499 roll, which is done through an odd way of actually of rolling dice all up. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, thankfully Foundry allows me to simply just roll a D499. So I'm going to roll that 3 times. So we've got a 26, 305, and a 124. So let's kind of make a note here. Oh, by the way, while I'm here, just to give you an idea of what Kithtrix and Perrin look like, I've been playing around a bit with Midjourney, so I've decided here is a very basic picture of Kithtrix. So she's a halfling. She has short, dark, messy hair, blue eyes, wearing leather armor, carries a bow, and then Perrin is your typical elf druid, so leather armor, also has a bow and a scimitar. For some reason, Midjourney likes to attach various things to faces, so this particular picture has added in some facial tattoos and elements, but I didn't mind it, so there's an idea of what Kithtrix and Perrin look like. So let's just create a journal entry. We're just going to call this Notes. Alright, and it's going to be a text page. Alright, so my 3 results again were... so 26, first off, is a range. 305 is Intimidate. And 124 is Corrupt. So those are my 3 elements that brought us to be here. So let's just see. So I'm going to say that the reason that they came to be here was information given by a traveller that was travelling through their land. So perhaps they arrived too late at the scene of the Blight to determine what it was, but there was somebody who had seen it. That person had observed cultists trying to perform some sort of ritual, something they were looking to create or to summon or to do, and it was the ritual that was blighting the land. The cultists actually encountered that individual, and rather than kill them, basically threatened them to leave and speak to no one of what they saw. So that to me then tells me the cultists aren't necessarily going to attack on sight, but because they've let this person go, they've intimidated them, sent them on their way. So the cultists are trying to do something. They're trying to corrupt the land, and whatever information that person gave us leads us to believe that this is the location the cultists have came from. Maybe that person has passed this way previously and also seen the cultists at this graveyard. So what that means is that definitely Kithtrix and Perrin are going to be on their guard, and they're probably going to be proceeding as stealthily as they can go. So let's just I want to make an investigation roll for both party members as they're on this side of the river before they cross to where the graveyard is. So let's grab Kithtrix, do an investigation roll for her, and we'll do. So she got oh great, she got a total of 4. So she's obviously completely oblivious to whatever's going on, and we'll try the same for our friend Perrin, who got a 4 as well. We're off to a brilliant start. So yeah, they find nothing, and they decide they're going to try and stealthily move towards the graveyard. So let's just see. I'm just going to move Kithtrix 2 moves. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and we'll bring Perrin along. He's much faster too, being an elf. So, as you see, I've just set up some basic lines of sight so they can only see certain things. And they are moving stealthily as well. So let's roll for see how stealthy they move. So Kithtrix, who's actually trained in stealth at least, but still rolls with it. Oh no! Oh wow! So halflings can re-roll a 1, but when you roll a 1 into a 1, that's not great. So that's a critical failure. Not that 5e has critical failures for skill checks, but how does Perrin do? Yeah, he's amazing, but who cares, because Kithtrix clearly steps on something very loud. Possibly, I'm going to say with a natural 1, she may even step on some sort of trap, something that was less. Let's say, have the people here set traps? Let's go with a 1d20 roll. Oh, they most certainly have set traps. Okay, so let's see. Let's try and see whether the Soul Adventurer's Toolkit has a trap, random trap system that I can use. Okay, roll on the traps table to find out. There's the traps table. That's the one thing about this. So the Soul Adventurer's Toolbox is it's basically a lot of tables. Which if you're running from a screen is not necessarily that great. Okay, so I've got the trap table there, so I'm going to roll a D100 to see what type of trap we've triggered. That's a 78. So a 78 is okay. So this is closing in walls, but that's more of a dungeon trap. So I'm going to re-roll that, trying to find something that is more applicable to an outdoor environment like this. 14. A simple pit. There we go. Okay, so it's going to be a DC 11 Dex save to avoid falling in. So let's get Kithtrix, and she's going to have to do a dexterity saving throw. DC 11. Okay, so she manages to... So she steps on a pit trap. The pit falls in. It's very loud, but she manages to avoid completely falling into the hole. But let's see. Does somebody here... I'm going to add +6 to this roll because that was so loud. 15. So somebody definitely hears. Alright, so I'm going to put an encounter now in the graveyard. This is the first encounter today. I don't want this to be the final encounter, so I'm going to say... let's go. So I'm going to roll a D4. 1 to 2, it's an easy encounter. 3 to 4, it's a medium encounter. Okay, so it's a medium encounter. Okay, so I have pre-generated up some options here. So the options I found are 2 bandits, cultists, or guards, or 4 crawling claws, or 1 acolyte, drow, skeleton, or zombie, and 1 crawling claw. I'm going to go with the 2... Let's put in 2 cultists. 2 cultists are on patrol out here, and they've heard the noise. So let's grab... thankfully, cultists are in the SRD. So I'm going to put them somewhere that they would not have been seen when the others were moving around. 1 there. And... Sorry, did I put a cult or a cult? No, that's cult. That's good. And I'm going to put the other one maybe up here somewhere that they may not have seen just yet. Although, there we go, they have seen it now. But maybe they weren't paying attention until the trap was triggered. All right, so the cultists... I'm not going to try and determine their attitude. I'm going to say that this is their home territory. They are looking to defend it. So let's quickly grab everybody into this thing, and we're going to create an encounter. All right, so roll initiative for everybody. All right, so it's Perrin, Kithtrix, cultist. And let's kick this off. So, and it looks like I tried to get a system to start the battle music, but it didn't. Okay, let's do this manually. All right. So, first up is Perrin. Okay, so he has seen 1 cultist. He's not necessarily aware of the other one. He is going to anticipate that there is some sort of threat here. So he's going to move a bit closer. He's going to target the cultist. And he's going to fire a shot with his short bow. Alright, that's a hit. Doing damage. Normal damage. Oh, good damage. So that's minus 8 hit points to the cultist, who's down to 1 hit point already. Let's see him in a bit. Alright, that's Perrin done. Okay, Kithtrix. Alright, she will... Oh, don't want to target her. She will also move. Alongside Perrin. 1, 2, 3, that's enough. And she's also going to take a shot at that cultist with her longbow. That's also a hit. Okay, and I roll damage then. And he is down. Dying. Okay. Alright, the other cultist has heard their friend cry out. So they're going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Get the wall between them and the others. But they have been... Actually, would they have been seen? They may not have been seen. Oh, they would have been seen by Kithtrix coming around the corner there. Okay, so... and then they're going to take the... They're not going to charge in and not attack. They're going to take the defensive action from there. So they have disadvantage to be hit. Alright. The cultist is dead. Perrin now. Alright. Having been warned by Kithtrix that there is another cultist there. Let's see. I wonder if it's worthwhile trying to entangle the cultist. Try and get some information from him. Yeah, so let's... Perrin's going to move around and he is going to cast Entangle. And he's going to drop it right over the cultist. And the cultist needs to make a saving throw DC 13. Alright, the cultist is still mobile. Alright. Kithtrix. Alright, she will move around the corner as well and see the cultist has not been stopped, so she's going to take a shot with her longbow. It's 14, I think, will be a hit on a cultist. Cultists have 12, that's a hit. Okay, so we can go to damage then. Big 4 damage. And since he's the only person around you can see, she is going to drop her favoured foe onto him. I need to make sure I've got her selected. Favoured foe, usability. Which means that I can deal an extra d4 damage. I think it happens on the same round that the first you hit the deal, yeah, including the round where you mark it, deals an additional d4 damage. So she rolls another 1d4 damage. Extra 1 damage. Yeah, it's better than nothing. Alright, the cultist. So, his friend is dead. A spellcaster has tried to entangle him, and he is below half health. So, I'm going to roll to see whether he chooses to flee over staying to fight. So, I'm going to ask this a yes-no question. There is actually like a creature encounter runner where it can work out things like based upon how much damage they've taken, but for the sake of what is basically a medium encounter, I'm just going to say, does the cultist decide to run? Maybe. Okay, so I'm going to say that he is... I wonder if he can do a fighting retreat, because I think he's got no ranged weapons. What have they got? It's a scimitar, dark devotion, has advantage on saving throws. You know what? I forgot with Kithtrix, she may not have hit him. I'm going to roll a second attack because he had disadvantage. So her other roll was actually a 2. Okay, so let me give him back all his health because he has not had any damage and she has not used her favoured foe. So, because she missed. Alright, so he is going to stay and fight then because he is unhurt and he is unentangled. So let's move him towards the closest opponent, which is Perrin. And he is going to swing his scimitar at Perrin. I need it from here. A 7 will miss. Okay. Alright, that leaves Perrin now. So Perrin is engaged in close combat. He's not going to try casting any more spells. He instead is going to swing on the cultist with his scimitar. And that will hit. Dealing 6 damage. And then Kithtrix, from where she is going to keep shooting at the guy. So he's already targeted, so I can just do it this way. She will fire her bow. That will definitely hit, 22. Okay, for 9 damage, which is enough to drop him. So he is down and dying. Alright, and thus endeth the combat. So we can go back to our graveyard ambience. Alright, so, and Perrin will definitely drop the entangle now. Alright, so seeing these guys are no longer threats, they're going to check the bodies to see if there's any information on them. So let's see if I can try and find any clues. I'm going to look for clues. There's a clue table in the book. So let's go for that. Okay, chapter 9. Clue table. Okay, D100. 2. Okay, the monster / NPC's weapon has dried blood on it, but what type? So let's just see. The cultist never managed to hit Perrin or Kithtrix, but he has a bloodied scimitar. Let's go for a medicine check from each of them to see if they can work out what the blood might have come from. Is it humanoid blood or is it something else? Okay, Kithtrix. Okay, 17 is pretty good. I may as well roll for Perrin just in case he somehow smashes that out of the park, but let's have a look. Well, okay, yeah, he does. Alright, so I'm going to ask the question, is the type of blood relevant to the investigation? And I'm going to say, given that it's a clue, that it's likely. So let's do +2 on this. Okay, no, it's not. So something else has happened here. And I am going to say, then, that what's happened is that these cultists have slain innocents, commoners, whatever, someone else that may have come to the graveyard, and they are using them to create undead. So I think the next encounter that we have in this location will have to be an undead encounter. That's not directly related to why they're here, it's just the fact that these cultists they're blighting the land, they're necromancers, whatever the case may be, that I'm going to say that the next encounter should be with undead. And there's a few undead options within the constraints of the difficulty level we're playing at. Alright, so, but for now, with 2 dead cultists, I would say that Kithtrix and Perrin... Okay, so one cultist came from over here. So there is definitely this big main tomb. But let's have them go over to investigate the smaller tomb where we saw the cultists come from. And then maybe later we'll go and see what the other cultists are doing over there. So I'll just get both of them together. And we'll... Can I take both or not? Okay. Yeah. Alright, so we'll peek Kithtrix around the corner because she's more the... Okay. So, was the cultist doing something at this tomb? Yes. Not an emphatic yes, but still a yes. Alright, let's go to the verbs. Let's do 2 verbs and see what he might have been doing. Oh, no, sorry, not roll D4 no one. Here we go. So 446 and 14. So 446 is startle, and 14 is ambush. Okay, so this cultist, I'm going to say, was planning on setting up an ambush and hoping to catch them unawares, but was he planning to ambush the people pursuing them, i.e. Kithtrix and Perrin? Okay, no. I think this is more likely not the case. I'm going to say, was he looking to ambush somebody else? So that's more likely. 11, maybe. Okay, so I'm going to say it's not entirely clear what he was trying to set up. Okay, here's another one. Was he trying to ambush somebody coming towards the tomb? Maybe. So he could have been trying to ambush somebody coming towards the tomb or away from the tomb. It's not clear. Alright, so let's move closer to the tomb. So Kithtrix and Perrin will come over here. And let's have them investigate the door of this tomb. Okay, is the door closed? Is the tomb sealed? No, it's not. Okay, so it's definitely not sealed. Okay, so they're going to move inside. I haven't got an internal tomb thing. I'm not going to go to a dungeon right now. We're just going to quickly move them inside and say that they're looking inside the tomb right now. So, okay, I'm going to roll for a room feature, as though this were a dungeon, and see what is actually inside this this tomb right now. Come on, features, dungeon features. So this is always going to be the slow part of this this book, is just finding the exact table that I need. So the dungeon creation tables. Alright, I have to try that again because I've gone right through the book and missed it. Random dungeon duration, here we go, page 40. Okay, so this is it's a room, and it contains, it's a D100. Three. Okay. A level appropriate deadly encounter. 45% chance of loot, 75% chance of clue. All right, so a deadly encounter. I'm gonna put in a single BBEG with a group of crawling claws. So we had said that next encounter was going to be undead. So I'm going to put in a skeleton and 3 crawling claws. That's a deadly encounter, and we'll see if our heroes survive this. So let's get the SRD out again, and we're going to look for a skeleton, and we're going to grab. And our crawling claws aren't in the SRD, so thankfully I put them into this already. Okay, so, and we're in this nice tight environment where we've just walked in and been startled by the undead, and we are going to start an encounter. So let's roll everyone's initiatives in. Wow, those crawling claws move fast. And Kithtrix rolled a 1 but then re-rolled it. Okay, this is not looking particularly great. So let's start our encounter. Go over to our combat track. Alright, the first crawling claw is the one directly in front of Kithtrix. So he's going to target Kithtrix. He is going to use his claw ability and attack. Normal attack. That is a miss. Okay, 1 down. The next one, that Crawling Claw, is the one also beside Kithtrix. So this one here will just move next to her and also do an attack. I can just use the same Crawling Claw, that's fine. Attack, normal. That's a miss, okay. Third Crawling Claw is going to target Perrin. Oof, that'll get him. Okay, so damage to Perrin is 4 damage. He's already lost half his health. Alright, Kithtrix. Okay, so she is too close to use her bow effectively, or at least give disadvantage. So instead she draws her 2 short swords. And so she is going to target the Crawling Claw in front of her first with a short sword attack. Set your control. Oh, okay, I need to be. Alright. Okay, that will hit for 8 damage. Okay, that Crawling Claw is destroyed. I'm just going to delete it. Okay, then she's going to use a bonus action to take her offhand attack against the other one beside her as well. Actually, no, she's going to try and target the one that's attacking Perrin. Make sure that he is safe. So I need to use her other attack though, because it's for her offhand one. Okay, that will hit. And the damage, okay, will not get the... Okay, I need to take the 3 off this because she's not getting a bonus to it, so it should just be d6 damage. So it's whatever rolls on the dice. 4 is still enough, I think, to kill a Crawling Claw. It is. Okay, 2 of those are dead. That's Kithtrix done. Okay, the skeleton is going to target Kithtrix. And he has got a short sword. Oh, critical fail. This is, my luck is in this for a deadly encounter. Alright, so Perrin. Alright, so he is no longer engaged in close combat. So he is going to fire his bow at the skeleton, I guess. It's vulnerable to bludgeoning, but yeah, let's go for the skeleton. So he's going to fire his bow. That will miss, but then he's going to use a bonus action to cast Healing Word on himself. So getting a whole 4 hit points back, but that's alright, because that puts him back up to his maximum. Alright, you know what, I'm just going to turn on health bars, just so we can sort of see how these guys are faring. Alright. So that's Perrin done, and I think Perrin now has used all of his level 1 spell slots. He has. Healing Words about action, yes, good. Okay, I didn't make a mistake. Alright, the one remaining Crawling Claw is going to go after Kithtrix again with its claw attack. Alright. Ooh, that'll get her. Okay, doing normal damage. Oh, thankfully only 2 damage. Alright, Kithtrix. Okay, we'll try to take out that Crawling Claw first with her first short sword. Actually, no, she's going to target... She's going to use a bonus action on that one first. So, this will be the one that doesn't get all the bonuses to the damage. Okay, it will hit though. So it will just be the d6 damage. 3 is still enough to kill one. Okay. And then she's going to use her main action on hitting the skeleton with her short sword. Ah, because I was like that, that's why. Okay, 18 will hit a skeleton for 5 damage. And she is going to now use her favoured foe because this is a tougher opponent. I never thought I'd call a skeleton a tough opponent, but that's what happens when you're level 1. extra 2 damage, and he is now marked by her. Okay. The skeleton is going to hit her back, because that's what undead do. They brainlessly attack. Sorry to any of my undead audience out there. I didn't mean to belittle you. Okay, 17 will hit. Dealing... Oof, 8 damage to Kithtrix. Wow, she is hurting badly. Okay, Perrin, what can you do, buddy? I think you've got no healing to offer. You don't, because you're out of healing magic. So I wonder if he's better off doing produce flame, or whether he's attacking with his weapon. He's gonna attack with his with produce flame, I think. So produce flame, attack. Oh no, he's missed. All right. Kithtrix is going to put both of her attacks onto the skeleton now. So her first short sword attack is going to be a miss, I'm pretty sure. Skeleton's got 13, yep. Okay, and her second short sword attack oh, a critical hit. Okay, so we're going to roll critical damage. So it's only going to be the 9 because it's her offhand attack, but she does get the extra 1d4 for having marked it. Okay, so that takes another 12 damage, so that is well and truly destroyed. And they have defeated the skeleton. Oh, but Kithtrix is not in a good way. Alright, so I think first things first, it's Goodberry I think is still a level 1 spell, it is too, yeah, so we can't cast Goodberry. So I think that they're going to have to acknowledge that with Kithtrix down to 1 health and without any other healing, that they're going to have to get out of here and return later to investigate further. So let's just move them out, and they basically make their way back across the river to somewhere they can go and have a short rest, or have a long rest in fact, sorry. Actually, I could just do a short rest. Stop, got them both selected. Okay. So let's just say they pull out of sight of the graveyard, and let's see how we go with a short rest. In which case, we'll roll. Okay, so I need to roll a D8, D10. I need to roll a D10 to see what she gets back. 1. Okay. Yeah, no, I think that given that Perrin's out of spell slots and Kithtrix is on only why does it go down? For some reason it didn't actually remove it. Oh, that's why I didn't do it. Okay, there we go. That's right. Well, I've already rolled the dice anyway. So I'll take it off. Oh, but she gets a con bonus, so she's actually on 3. Still, yeah, I'm not happy. I'm not happy exploring a dangerous graveyard with 3 hit points and no spell slots. So let's say that they decide to pull far enough back, they're going to camp overnight and come back and see if there's still evidence here to investigate in the morning. So let's just, for the sake of ambience, switch it to the nighttime scene. Although they're not within sight of the graveyard, they're definitely further away. All right, so in a forest, it's going to take a DC 6 survival roll to find shelter, or to create a camp. So they can both roll this. So Kithtrix gets a natural 20. Wow, okay. And Perrin, for the sake of argument, he gets... They're both trained survival, at least. 2 natural 20s. Okay. I'm going to say that because of that, they actually found an existing, so not an existing camp, but a previously set up camp that's easy to use, but was the camp previously used by the cultists they are investigating? Definitely not. Okay. So that means that somebody else was here. Let's say that before they go to sleep, they investigate to try and find signs of who had a camp near the graveyard and why. So, Perrin, natural 20. Okay. And Kithtrix. Okay. Not natural 20, but still pretty good. Alright, so I'm going to roll 3 D499s to work out what they can learn from this campsite. Okay, so let's find 122. Okay, that is cook. Okay, 99 is climb, and 196 is in danger. Okay, so cook and climb to me implies that whoever was here is an experienced woodsman. So perhaps a more experienced ranger, perhaps some sort of warden of these parts has been here previously. The in danger part, I'm going to say that this individual has perceived a danger from the cult, was watching it, and has probably gone to go and get help. So, is there help coming from somewhere else? No. Okay, so whatever this person did, it has not meant that there's any further allies coming. Alright, so they've got a camp set up. They make some food. They talk a bit about the day. Surprised that they stumbled into an encounter with undead. But in the end, Kithtrix takes the first watch while Perrin settles down for his trance. And then eventually he then takes over so she can sleep through the rest of the night. Now, are they disturbed during the night? I'm going to put in a -4 to this because they have. I should put in -6 because they got double D20. They got double nat 20 on their camp, so they've well concealed their camp. So let's see. Okay, so no, they completely sleep through the night. No interruptions, no concerns. So let's just long rest them both. And Perrin gets a long rest too to get his spell slots back. Alright, and we will then go back to daytime at the graveyard. Now, when they do return to the graves, or the graveyard, the first thing I know is, are the bodies still there? Have the bodies been removed? Here's my question. That's maybe. Okay, so I'm going to say that one of the bodies was removed and not the other. So I'm going to say the body they didn't get round to checking yet has been removed, and the body they investigated has been left behind. So one thing I think that, given what happened yesterday, they are going to be moving stealthily as they go into the graveyard. So don't roll another nat 1, and you roll another nat 1, but thankfully that turns into a 13, which is enough to avoid. I think cultists have a passive perception of 10, 11. So if there's more cultists, they don't hear Kithtrix. But what about Perrin? Okay, so I'm happy to say that with a 13 and a 15, they are okay to move into the graveyard, at least for now, unobserved. So I'm just going to quickly move them up to here, get them inside the graveyard. Alright, so it's at this point that they realise that the body that was shot and killed by Perrin over here has been removed. So let's move them over there to go and investigate what's happened over there. Oh, we're moving the body with us. We're dragging that poor guy along. Put him back where he was. Alright. So, let's have them investigate around the area there. Okay, not great from Kithtrix. How does Perrin do? Okay, no, 2-7. I'm going to say that they can't find what has become of the body. So instead, they've decided that now is the time to go and investigate the main tomb and see if something has happened here. So, importantly, is this tomb door open? It is. Okay. I think that they should, given they walked in blindly last time and triggered a horde of undead, I think that they're going to make perception checks first to see if they can hear anything. Wow, these ones are killing me. Double 1 again. Wow. Okay. What are the odds of that? 1 in 400 apparently. What happening at twice? 1 in a lot more. All right, and perception from Perrin. Okay, so while Kithtrix is busy cleaning wax out of her ears, Perrin, if there's something to hear, Perrin will hear it. So is there something to hear? Given that the door is open, I'm going to say that it's likely that there is. I'm going to give it a +4. 14. Okay, yes, there is. But it's a low yes. I'm going to say that the sound is distant. Maybe this tomb is not simply the space above ground. Maybe there's more to it below the ground. But, So let's say that they hear... Okay, do they hear talking? Okay, I'm going to call this likely as well. That's what they hear. Okay, yes, they do hear talking. So I'm going to roll 3 verbs to see what they hear talking about. Okay. So let's get my notes again. Alright, so first one is 93. So they hear voices talking about a challenge. Second one was 49. Barter. And 290. Imprison. Alright, so I'm going to say that they hear people attempting to broker a prisoner exchange. So, or at least to buy a prisoner from somebody inside the tomb. And that the challenge component of it is not going well. It sounds like these two forces are opposed, and while one thought that they could easily do a deal here, it's becoming more of a problem than they thought. And okay, does it sound like hostilities are about to ensue? That's a maybe. It's a high maybe as well. So I'm going to say that both Perrin and Kithtrix think that if they take no action, that some sort of fight is going to break out, and so they are going to move inside the tomb in order to see what they can see. Now, we've determined that the voices were far away, so I'm going to say at this point in time that this is not simply a circular room, that this is a bigger tomb. And I am going to stop this right now, and I'm going to go and generate a dungeon using the toolkit, and I'm going to come back to filming again once once that dungeon is done and we can pick up where we left off. So by the magic of YouTube, I'll be back with you very shortly, but I will go and do that now.